Hello everyone and welcome to this Stockholm in my heart. It's actually the town that I did grow up in. We started with arriving with the airport coaches to city terminal and then headed to our hotel at Riddargatan on Östermalm, the Story Hotel by Hyatt. The room is really nice and we had it on floor number 5 with a small balcony. Unfortunately, the air conditioner was not so existent during this day, so it was quite hot in the room. Otherwise, the room was really nice. The hotel is situated in an old apartment house that it was built in the beginning of the 1900. The hotel has one restaurant that is serving breakfast, and during evening they have a fusion Asian menu, together with the bar on the other side, which serves you cocktails and wine. After we settled in, we went for a stroll in my old neighborhoods. It is really nice to stroll around in this area, which is not so touristic, but I highly can recommend you as a visitor to go here to Östermalm and see the normal life of living here in Stockholm. If you're interested in architecture, I highly can recommend that you visit Östermalm. Östermalm is situated on the upper part from Strandvägen, where you go to, for example, Djurgården. From Strandvägen you have a wonderful view over the archipelagos beginning in the center of Stockholm, where you can take boats out to the archipelagos islands and also sit down in one of the bars and restaurants to enjoy the wonderful view. Just a few blocks away you have the Djurgårdsbron, where you have Nordiska museet and the famous regalskeppet Vasa that is conserved here at the museum. You also have the amusement park Gröna Lund, which is one of the biggest attractions here in Stockholm. For the evening meal, we did take the commuter ferry out to Nacka Strand, where you have nice restaurants and a wonderful view over Stockholm. And you can see the sea traffic with the small boats that takes passengers out to the islands of the archipelago. You buy the ticket easy in the SL app, which is a part of the commuter network here in Stockholm. The boat ride takes approximately 25 minutes from Nybroplan, but you can also get on board the boat on the different stops along the way. We got a nice table at the restaurant where we can enjoy the cruise ships departing from Stockholm. And here we even see the old Ven ferry that sailed between Landskrona and Ven when I was growing up. We enjoyed a really nice meal here with some nice beverages together with this stunning view. We really enjoyed a wonderful dinner together out here at Nacka Strand, and we jumped on board one of the commuter boats that will take us into the center of Stockholm. Here we're passing by Viking Line's Viking Glory that set a course for Turku in Finland. It's a cruise ferry that you can take 23 hours cruises or just travel to Finland to explore our wonderful neighbor country. On the way back we got off the ferry a little bit earlier at Skeppsholmen for a nice evening walk and enjoyed this summer Stockholm sun and sunset with a view over Gamla stan and the Stockholm Royal Castle. I can highly recommend you to visit Stockholm by foot, even if it's a really nice commuter network with subway and buses. You miss lots of nice things while you are underground.
After an enjoyable afternoon and evening, it was time to get a well-deserved sleep. We start off the next day with a nice breakfast at the hotel before we heading out for our morning walk. Here we are at Kungsträdgården or King's Garden, which is situated in the middle of Stockholm Central. Here we have lots of events during the summertime, and it's a nice park to just stroll around in. We continue our walk along Skeppsbron further on to Slussen. This is the lock that combines Mälaren with the Stockholm archipelago and further on to the Baltic Sea. It's now under renovation, but it will be a really nice hangout place later on. Here you can see Viking Cinderella arriving from Helsinki with lots of cruise passengers. Just 1 block away you have Gamla Stan or the Old Town. It's a perfect place to just stroll around in and enjoy the old houses. Try to do this in the morning because it's less tourists here. If you are in Stockholm, we highly recommend you to go on a guided tour inside the castle. But we didn't have time for this time, so we just strolled around the castle and enjoyed the wonderful architecture. The castle is situated just beside Riksdagen or the Parliament in Sweden. And this area is very nice with old houses and lots of nice history. There are also lots of signs around where you can read about the place that you actually are standing at. Further on to one of Stockholm's largest and most iconic landmarks. It's the Stockholm Stadshus or the City Hall. Here you can get married if you want to, and you can also enjoy the Nobel festivities that are taking place here during the autumn. But we'll continue our historic tour with the small boat Prince Carl Philip out to the Swedish castle Drottningholm. We enjoyed a nice meal on board while it takes us out on the Mälaren, which is the lake just inside the Stockholm archipelago. And the boat ride takes about 50 minutes. And we do some small stops along the way where passengers can get off and get on board. Mälaren is a big lake and has a really nice inner archipelago, and it's just wonderful to sit here and see the scenery go by. Soon enough, the boat ride was over and it was time to disembark and enjoy this wonderful royal castle, Drottningholm, where actually the king and queen lives. The castle is dated back to 1576, but it has been some new buildings and it's also extended during the time period. At 1981, the royal family moved out here from Stockholm Castle and is now their official residence. They have a really nice castle park that you are almost free to stroll around in. It's really enjoyable to see the small different castles just in the castle park, and you can really feel the royalties walking around here while the winds of history blowing in your hair. We spent here about 2 hours, but we can highly recommend you to visit here for a longer time, about 3 to 4 hours, so you really can enjoy the wonderful castle park, or maybe do a guided tour here at Drottningholm's theater, or a guided tour in the castle. But soon enough, and the weather was not so great, our boat was back for take us into Stockholm again. The boat that takes us to and from Drottningholm is MS Carl Philip. That is actually was built in 1901, and I can highly recommend you to take a tour with this boat in Mälaren when you have the opportunity to do that. So now we are back at Klara Mälare Kaj and strolling back to our hotel room to relax a little bit for the evening's activity. Here we're passing by Drottninggatan, which is the main shopping street here in Stockholm. After a little rest at the hotel room, it was time to head down to Nybroviken and go to this little boat, Strömma Kanal, which will take us on a shrimp evening cruise in the inner Stockholm archipelago out to the castle Vaxholm. It's a really affordable way to get some sightseeing and a nice dinner on board. Unfortunately, it started to rain just about our departure time, but soon enough the clouds cleared up and we enjoyed lots of shrimps and wine while sailing out in the archipelago. After about 1 hour we arrived in Vaxholm, and our docking place was the island Vaxholm Citadel or Vaxholm Castle. So you can stretch your leg for about 15 minutes and enjoy some other views over the Vaxholm and our little boat. After a quick walk, it was time to embark again on the tour into Stockholm. That will also take about 1.5 hours. And the weather cleared up, so we really could enjoy sitting out on deck and see the evening sun disappear behind the islands. The archipelago consists of about 24,000 islands and has an inhabitants of about 10,000 people that lives here all year around. During the summer months, it's really easy to go out to the different islands, maybe stay overnight in a hostel or in a hotel, or maybe bring your camping gear. Södermalm is a part of Stockholm, which is a really nice area with lots of restaurants and boutiques, and even really interesting architecture from different time periods. Now we are back in Nybroviken and Strandvägen Östermalm. Time to hop off the boat and thank all the crew for a wonderful evening and shrimp cruise. After a not so good night's sleep, it was time to pack our bags, eat some breakfast, and just enjoy the last hour here in Stockholm before we're heading to Gnesta and Björnlunda. But we took the opportunity to visit my old neighborhoods again, with here Humlegården and Karlavägen that combines Karlaplan and Humlegården. You have a really nice alley with trees that covers from the direct sunlight, and lots of different signs that tells you what you see and some history about the area. In the end of Karlavägen you find Gärdet, which is a part of Djurgården. Here you have lots of recreation areas and museum that you can stroll around. Just to walk on all the big avenues at Östermalm, we did choose to go back at Valhallavägen and to the residential shopping area Fältöversten. It's a really nice area that people actually live, and you can see the everyday life of Östermalm. Just a few hundred meters we are at the Djurgården and the embassy area. Here you can see all the big villas where the diplomats lives and had their office. And what a stunning view all the diplomats has. And now we are back at the first avenue here at Östermalm, Strandvägen, that combines Djurgården and the central area of Nybroviken and further on to the Stockholm center. We continue our stroll to Norrmalmstorg and then further up to NK, Nordiska Kompaniet, which is the most famous department store here in Stockholm. We continue to the party area, Stureplan, where you have lots of bars and restaurants. Here at Sturegallerian, the department store, you also have a really famous bathhouse, Sturebadet, where you can get a spa treatment and just relax a little bit from the city pulse. Just across here you also have the Östermalmshallen, which is a market hall where you can eat and drink and also buy some groceries. Östermalmshallen was built in 1888 and was then became one of the main places that you purchased food and groceries. Nowadays it's mostly restaurants and bars in this area. We went further on to Sergels Torg, or Plattan as it calls, as we headed further on to the central station. That will take us further south to Gnesta. The train ride to Gnesta takes about 35 minutes, and we continue a journey to the south part of the Stockholm archipelago, Trosa. It's an old city or town. It was founded about 1383 and became a really important trade port because of the closeness to the Baltic Sea. Today, Trosa town center has about 7,300 inhabitants. We continue our tour to another royal castle, Tullgarns Castle, which is situated about 30 minutes from Trosa. And the castle was built in 1727. And it's still a part of the public castles that are run by the Swedish government and overseen by the royal family. If you want to, you can get guided tours here in the castle, but we did choose to just stroll around in the really wonderful areas surrounding the castle. Now it's time to head back to Scania with this SJ high-speed train that will take us to Malmö. We really hope you liked this video and looking forward to see you in the next.